Some of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn have always been about leadership, okay? And I think that's because they don't teach us this stuff in school. You can't go learn it in college. You can really only learn by doing it and making mistakes. And now we have 60 plus employees. We do multiple 8 figures a month. And I feel like I have a lot of good stuff to share in terms of leadership, how to hire people, how to delegate. So on the way to our team offsite, which was, we had at the time about 50 people in town, my video guy was asking me some questions from Instagram, and one of the questions was about delegation, leadership, and everything. So we're gonna splice over to that video, and you're gonna see some of my best thoughts in terms of how we've grown our team to 60 plus people, how I delegate, how I think about delegating, how I think about leadership, and more. So see you guys, enjoy. How do you hold your team accountable? So a lot of it's gonna depend on the position, but at a high level, it is all very, very much the same. And I feel like I have a lot of room to speak on this because we have 60 people. In fact, we're actually driving to our company offsite right now. We have around 60 people on our team, and we have a very high performance culture. And we're, even for 60 people, we're doing some big numbers in terms of revenues. So I feel like we're doing some things right. Now, number one, I think a good framework for this, and I learned this from Alex Sharfin just to give him credit, is OTAs. So first of all, any sort of initiative or task, what is the outcome? O. T, what is the target? Or a better way to think of T, in my opinion, is how do you measure it? How are we gonna measure this thing? And A is who is accountable and when is it accountable by? And or are we gonna divide this into certain milestones for them to complete by a certain time frame? So first of all, with anything that ever happens, I mean any task that you're delegating, for instance, and this could be with sales, this could be with an ops person, whatever. You want to figure out the OTA, and you want to clearly define what it is, how are we going to measure it, / what are the KPIs, and who is accountable and when are they accountable for. Then once we do that, the next thing I think of is what is the proper meeting cadence for this task? Is this something I can cover just on one of the basic team meetings based on our current team meeting structure? Do I have to cover this on our weekly one-on-ones? I usually recommend having a weekly one-on-one with every single direct report, bi-weekly at most. Or if this is a big initiative, do I have to set up a separate initiative meeting? So for instance, we're doing something with influencer marketing, and I have a separate initiative meeting with my direct report who does only the influencer marketing. This person has other tasks, but just for this, because it's such a big initiative, we make sure that we have a separate meeting just for that because it's gonna take up the whole meeting time to go over it. Right? We can't go over that whole initiative on, let's say, a marketing meeting because it's going to derail the entire meeting. So I always think of, number one, what's the OTA? Number two, what is the proper meeting cadence? And then number three, I usually, especially if it's a new initiative, if it's something that's a little task within their broader scope of responsibilities, that goes into either the meeting Asana board or maybe their personal Asana board. If it's an initiative, or essentially, actually, to be honest, if it's something we cover on a meeting, it goes in the meeting Asana board. If it's something we cover on their one-on-ones, it goes on their personal Asana. And if it's something to where it's its own initiative, then what we do is we create a whole new Asana board for that initiative, which means probably more than one person is going to be involved. Now, the other thing I'll say is that's pretty basic. A lot of people don't even do that stuff. But what I also want to do is every single time we meet, we're going to go over, essentially, there's a framework, but a few of the things is number one, they're going to come with what did they work on last week or whatever since the last meeting? What is the agenda on this week? Where are they at in terms of their KPIs? Where in terms of what we're measuring? Maybe that's sales, maybe that's something else, maybe it's MQLs. Where are we at versus what's projected? Are we on pace? Are we not on pace? And if we're not on pace, why are we not on pace? That is very, very key. If we're not on pace, why are we not on pace? So what I want from them is progress. And essentially, I want self-awareness. I want to make sure that they are aware if they're not on pace, hitting dead ends here, but if they're not on pace, why are they not on pace? Because as long as they're self-aware and they understand, we tested this, it didn't work, so and they're forward thinking and they're thinking for themselves, that is good. But what I don't want is and every leader has probably seen this at one point in another time, is the deer in the headlights look, to where they're just it's why are we not on pace? And they're just nothing, not good, right? So what we want is to train that self-awareness, right? So somebody who, a salesperson, who has good self-awareness about their numbers in our meetings, like the way we keep them accountable is just by their unit projection, right? So they'll project how many units they're doing a week, a month, and then they're always getting asked on meetings every single day. We have a daily meeting. Are you on pace or are you not on pace? And now after they get asked that so many times, what they'll start to say is, you know, I projected 9 this week. Right now I'm at 3. I'm a little bit under pace, but I had a little bit higher no-shows the first side of the week, and I got 4 follow-ups slated and a full calendar the rest of the week. So I'm still definitely hedged and feel good about this week. So you see how in that response, it's self-aware. You know, it's totally self-aware. So that is what we want with the sales team. We're about to pull in here, so we'll see you in the next video.